Hello, Tech Pros, episode 210. Welcome to the podcast where I chat with professionals who are getting the job done using technology 7 days a week. Each week, we start with Motivation Monday. Tuesday is about productivity, Wednesday, leadership, Thursday, technology, Friday, people and communication, Saturday, entrepreneurship, and Sunday, being unplugged. All right, let's get started. Hello, Tech Pros. This is Chad Bostic, and I'm excited to be here on day number 7 of our second Signature Series week. This week, it's all about starting your first business. If you're a technical professional and you want to be an entrepreneur, or in other words, you're a wantrepreneur, or if you've already started your own business, but you're not sure how to get it off the ground and get to that point where you're generating income, you're identifying who your target audience is, you're connecting with your customers, you're really resonating with people, and not just working on an app, not just building a website, not just doing the technology things that sometimes we tend to focus on, us technical professionals, we tend to focus on the technology and not focus on the business, right? So I grew up as a software developer. It's really hard, it's really difficult for a lot of people to shift their mindset from being a software developer or being a server administrator or being a DBA or a project manager, shift that mindset into being a sales director and being a CEO. So that's what you've got out of the first 6 days of this series. If you've missed the first 6 days or if you missed any of the episodes, you can go to hellotechpros.com/start. That's hellotechpros.com/start. You're going to get an email series that includes each of the episodes, each of the MP3 files, the podcast episodes for each of the 7 days of the week, each of the 7 episodes, and great stories and action items and homework to follow along at home. You're going to want to do the homework. It's absolutely critical to do the homework because that's what's going to set you apart from the wantrepreneurs and the entrepreneurs, from thinking about your business to actually doing your business and making progress on it. I absolutely believe that if you don't follow action, if you don't follow a roadmap, if you don't take steps, then you're going to fail, because that's the position I was in for 15, 20 years, is thinking about starting a business, trying to start a business, taking lots and lots of notes on ideas that I had, buying tons of domain names, writing a bunch of code, but never actually shipping anything, never actually finding a customer, never actually building relationships with people who were like, yeah, dude, I totally resonate with what you're doing over there. Like, you could help me out. I would love for you to help me out. Until I launched Hello Tech Pros. So I learned a lot along the way. And this week, throughout the first 6 days, we've talked about, let's sum it up. Let's give a little recap in case you missed it. So on day 1, we talked about how to get past the anxiety that handcuffs you to your miserable 9-to-5 job. Sometimes we just get stuck. We get plateaued. We get tied because, the tech industry is good. We get paid really good. We've got great benefits. Sometimes we work for a boss that we really love. But even though it's good, it's not great, and we want something more. We want to break out of those glass ceilings and build our own destiny, and not just be tied to the success or failure of the company that we work for, but really create our own success and failure. So we talked about that on day 1. On day 2, it was how to find the startup idea you were absolutely meant to launch. I truly believe that there is an idea, a startup that is meant for every single person. And unfortunately, many of us are not just intrinsically wired and tapped into exactly what that is. So on day 2, we talked about the process to go through to find that startup idea that you were meant to launch. Day 3, it was when and how to bring on help for your startup. So it's very difficult to do it all yourself, and it's also very difficult to manage a team of people if you've never done that before. So first, we talked about when is it appropriate to bring on other people. Do we want to bring them on right from the get-go, right from the moment we have the idea, or do we want to wait a little bit? When we do decide that we want to bring on help, how do we decide what to give them? Which tasks do we give the people that we're bringing on to help us, whether it be a co-founder or whether it be a virtual assistant or whether it be a software developer or a salesperson, whatever it is. We talked about a lot of different examples there on day 3. On day 4, You know what? I talked about a technology stack that for me is the most critical in your business. And a lot of tech pros are not focusing on the stack. They're focusing on the stacks they have a lot of familiarity with, and they're focused on the technology stacks that they hear about in the news and they see at other companies that these folks are doing. But let me tell you, there's a huge gap. There's a huge tech stack that many entrepreneurs that come from a technology background are not thinking about that. And it's absolutely critical that you understand that tech stack and you master it. If you do that, the rest of the business is going to be good. And anything you do to your other normal tech stacks, like your Java or JavaScript or your .NET or your Android or your iOS or whatever you're building, it's going to be a multiplier to the hidden tech stack that I'm going to be talking about, or I did talk about on day 4. On day 5, how to find those first customers when you hate selling. Oh my gosh, I've hated the idea of selling, of pitching myself, of talking to strangers or talking to people, worse, talking to people that I respect and admire and want them to give me money for stuff. It just gives me the heebie-jeebies. It's always made me feel uncomfortable because of when I was a kid, my dad said salespeople were evil and they were just trying to get us and they're just trying to screw us over. But there's a right way to do it. There's a right way to find your customers that doesn't make you feel like a complete dirtbag. It actually makes you feel like a superhero. When you do it the right way, when you connect to your first customers the right way, you will get so much joy and satisfaction, not on the money side of it, but about helping them solve the problems that they've been struggling with. And so we talked about that on day 5. Yesterday was all about free marketing channels for your startup. Once you find those first customers, then it's like, okay, how to scale? How do I get in front of more and more people, but without breaking the bank? I have personally lost a lot of money in pay-per-click ads with Google ads and Facebook ads and some other things that I've used in the past because everything wasn't optimized and I didn't have a really good path to success whenever I was pricing my products, whenever I was trying to find my first customers. And so I spent a ton of money on pay-per-click ads because I had heard that's a great way to scale. Unfortunately, I was at the wrong time in my business to do that. And what I needed to do was use really free marketing channels to get more eyeballs onto my products, to get more eyeballs into my ideas, and spread the word and build an email list of people that know, like, and trust me. So yesterday we talked about awesome free marketing channels that I've discovered that can help your startup really reach a bigger, broader, wider audience. So we've had a lot of productivity. We've learned a whole lot in the last week. And this episode, what I want to talk about is how to avoid turning your startup into just another job. Man, wouldn't that suck if you built some success, you got your MVP out there, you connected with some clients, you connected with some customers, you start rocking and rolling and your dreams are coming true, and finally you reach to the point where you're like, you know what? I am turning in my notice. I am giving my boss my 2 weeks or my whatever the time frame it is, and I'm going out on my own because I know this business is going to be a success. And by all measures, by all key things, meaning mostly the money and the revenue and everything else, it is a success. But the problem is you hate it. After a while, maybe it's 3 months or 6 months or 2 years or 6 years, it just becomes another frickin' job where you're just punching the clock and you're just doing the thing. I used to watch this commercials, the Dunkin' Donuts commercials. Time to make the donuts. Time to make the donuts. And what I don't want to do in my entrepreneurship, right, in my startups, and what I don't want you to do in your startups is to turn that startup into just another job where it is just about, making that revenue and getting those next clients in and keeping the thing churning and the factory and the code and the whatever that you're doing. Just keeping it all moving, and you are just kind of, now you've got those golden handcuffs, but instead of working for somebody else, you're working for yourself. And who can possibly be worse than any boss that you've ever had in your life? yourself. If you've ever worked for yourself and treated yourself like a rotten employee because you were a horrible boss, man, I've talked to so many people on Leadership Wednesdays who've given me that feedback. Hey, Chad, I was the worst boss that I ever worked for was myself, and here's why. I don't want you to do that, man. I don't want to do that for myself, and I don't want you to do that. So how can we do it? Well, it really depends on what you love. And everybody says, work on your passion, work with your passion. But to me, it's more of the lifestyle that you choose and why you're trying to build this business. Everybody's got their own reason. And on episode 1 of this series, on day 1 of this series, we talked about finding that motivation that's really going to help you overcome your anxiety to get to unlock those golden handcuffs and start working on something for you instead of working on something for your boss, for your employer. So we need to reconnect with that, and we need to really, really amplify that and make sure that it's the right reason. Number one thing that we can do, the best thing that we can do for ourselves is making sure that we're starting this company for the right reason, making sure that we're serving these customers for the right reason, that we're building these products for the right reason. To me, personally, because of the way I'm wired up, the money aspect of it is not the right reason. I mean, trust me, I would love to make millions and millions of dollars. I would love to be to have a passive income stream that comes in and just, handles all the money so that I can do my own thing. That would be perfect. But that's not running a business. That's not starting a business. That's wishing upon winning the lottery, right? So if we're going to really work on our business, if we're going to really start the thing, it's going to take some effort. It's going to take some effort. And I'm not here to tell you that it's going to be easy. I'm not saying that what we're going to do here is this, where you go in, you send a couple of emails, and in only 4 hours a week, you can have a successful business that makes $100,000 a month. If you do, awesome. Let me know. I would love to learn from you. But right now I'm talking about putting in the hours, and just like you're going to work hard for your boss, working hard for yourself, but not burning yourself out at the same time. So how can we really make sure that what we're working on aligns to what we're doing? Well, one of the things is take a look at some of the things that you've done in the past that is not fulfilling. Kind of like when you're dating, right? When you're dating someone and it's all, fireworks and it's amazing, and then you're in this relationship for 3 months or 6 months or a year, and it's like, you know what? Now that the lust has fallen off, like, what's left? This is not fun. Like, I thought it was really, really fun at the beginning, but now it's not fun anymore. And a long-term relationship is work. Like, being married is like a full-time job. It's a lot of work. So if I'm not completely, absolutely 100% in love with this person, then what am I doing here? I'm just kind of wasting our time. And we should not, in Chad's opinion, carry on this relationship. I feel the same way, as strong about your business and the company that you're trying to build and the products you're trying to build and the customers that you're trying to serve. If you're absolutely, positively, 100% head over heels in love with it, and not meaning like it's fun and you get to work from home and you're taking vacations and you're doing all that stuff, but you're really, really inspired and you feel so much fulfillment every time a customer sends feedback and says, thank you so much. This really helped. This changed my life. It was so much fun. It was fantastic. Whatever that is, if that doesn't make you head over heels, fall in love every single time that you hear that, then this thing that you're doing may not be for you. So the problem can be we don't know who our true love is until we meet them, right? We don't know what our soulmate is until we meet that person, until we fall in love. So we have to, if we're not there with our soulmate, both in our company, in our business, and in life, you really have to date a lot of people. You really have to date a lot of business ideas. So first of all, don't consider whatever thing that you're launching today, whatever thing that you have put in place and you are kicking off the ground, this week that you've learned throughout this series, this Start Your First Business course, the first business that you create, unfortunately, is probably not going to be the thing that really propels you and drives you forward for the next 10, 20, 30 years. It may just be a starter business, and that's okay. I want to let you know that that's okay. What we need to do as entrepreneurs is, again, I've said it earlier in the week, not get married to the idea, not really just focus 100% on the product or the service or the thing that we're providing, but really fall in love with the types of people that we want to serve. And to me, that's what it's all about. It's about helping people in real life, right? Even if we're creating a B2B company, if we're creating a business-to-business company that's serving other businesses, those business entities are really just other people, right? Because they are, the culture of those companies are like a whole other entity. Our entity, our business is kind of like a person. It's like our own child, and these other businesses are other people that are made up of individuals inside that business. And so what we really need to do is identify who is it that we want to serve and why do we want to serve them? If serving Fortune 100 companies in Silicon Valley if that's your target market, and you have so much thrill and respect out of working with them, no matter how the project goes down, right? Some projects tank. Some customers throw a fit. Sometimes things fail and you have a bad day. But if your bad day serving the customers that you love is so fantastic and you would not have it any other way, then you found it. You have found your calling. If it's not, if it's like, oh my gosh, when I'm having a good day, it's okay, things are fine. But when I'm having a bad day, man, I don't want to be around these people. They're horrible. My customers, I don't understand them. They don't understand me. This thing is a lot harder. I don't get paid enough for this. I want to charge more money for this stuff just so that I can give myself, more options. But I can't charge more money because these stupid clients won't pay it, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. If you're complaining about your clients, if you're complaining about your customers, either not wanting to spend the money or the way that they interact over customer service or whatever, just their lifestyle or whatever, then that is not the business for you. You need to be on the lookout for something else. So as an entrepreneur, constantly test yourself, test your emotions, test what's going on in your life and in your business and in your heart, and say, you know what, every 3 months, every 6 months, at least every year, is this right for me? Am I getting fulfillment out of this, or is it starting to become just another job? If it looks like it's becoming just another job, then what was it at the beginning that you were so much in love with? When you thought that this thing was the end-all be-all for you, what was it about it? Was it just the fact that you were making some money on the side and you didn't have to go in and punch the clock for somebody else? Or was it that you got to speak on a microphone in a podcast? Or was it the people that you were connecting with? Or was it just because it was new? That's okay. No matter what the answer is, it's completely valid. And what's right for somebody else may not be right for you. Are you following this dream because other people saw your early success and are like, congratulations, you rock it, girl, you rock it, dude, you're amazing, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. And was it other people's, their cheerleader activities, they're really pumping you up? Is that what drove you forward? Or was it something internally inside of you that was like, yes, regardless of what my spouse says, what my kids say, what my neighbors say, how much money I make, this is what I need to be working on? There's a big difference. There's a big difference between those two answers. So get in touch with what exactly was that thing that you love. It might be the fact that you really, really love starting and launching, but you don't like operating and running. That's cool. That's awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. I know a lot of software developers, and I know a lot of technical professionals, and I am one of them, that have a hard time sustaining. We have a hard time with operational support of something once it's built. We love building. There's a lot of entrepreneurs, serial entrepreneurs, that hate operating but love building. So maybe one of the things you need to start considering is, What's my exit of this company? I'm going to sell it off, or I'm going to hire a CEO, or I'm going to put a team in place and automate the thing, and then I'm going to move on to something else. If it's not running the business that excites you, but building businesses, then your objective needs to shift. Instead of running this business, you need to figure out how to automate it, or how to sell it, or how to find somebody else to run it for you. And then you go start the next thing. And then your job is building companies and finding people to take care of them. Building companies and finding people to take care of them. Building and finding, right? That's awesome. If what you really, really love is those early customers, like those customers that you had when it was very, very tiny, maybe they didn't have the budget that some of your newer customers have. Maybe they had a smaller budget, but they were so thankful for what you were doing. Maybe take a shift, take a look at to see, can we segment this company? Can we make two brands? One brand that's focused on like the big high level, the big businesses or the big high dollar clients, and we can rebrand that piece as something else. And then again, find somebody else to take care of that. Find a CEO or a COO or a day-to-day operations manager that can take care of that side of the business that you're just not comfortable with, honestly. It's just that you're not fired up about it. And go back to serving the people that you love to serve. To me, that's what it's all about. If I am helping the people that I love to help, then I will do it all day, regardless of what the money is. And I'm not saying money's a bad thing. I love my dollars, but to get real, true satisfaction out of it, I have to feel, no matter if I'm working for somebody else or working for myself, I have to feel that what I'm doing is making a difference. If I don't feel like what I'm doing is making a difference, because there's a ton of other options. I give you this thing and you don't use it. Maybe there's 10,000 people that are buying my product, but there's only 2 or 3 that actually use it, and they just kind of buy it to collect it or whatever. That's not going to fulfill me. If I'm doing these podcasts, honestly, let's get really, really real about Chad. If I'm doing these podcasts and I'm putting out a lot of good content and people are downloading, but they're not interacting with me, if they're not posting comments, if they're not leaving reviews, if they're not coming into my Slack channel or sending emails on or replying to my emails on my email letters, if they're not interacting with me and saying, hey, this helped, or why did you say that? That does not apply to me at all, or whatever. If I'm not getting the interactivity, then I'm going to lose interest. Because to me, it's not about speaking into a microphone. It's not about working at home. It's about really helping people and knowing that I'm connecting with them, knowing that I'm making an impact. And if I don't know that I'm making an impact, I will shift the direction of this podcast. And I have no apologies about that whatsoever. I will shift if I don't feel like I am really connecting with people. It's not about, am I selling sponsorships? It's not about what my download numbers are. It's about, am I really helping you? If you're listening to this, if you're still listening to this after 23 minutes into it, and any of this has helped you, please let me know. Go to hellotechpros.com/start. Sign up for that. Sign up for this course if you haven't already, or if you've already signed up for the course and I've sent you some emails with some homework, I'm going to hold you accountable for doing that homework, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're not, then you're going to go on my naughty list. But send me some feedback regardless, even if it's just like, Chad, I want to do this, but I need some more time. Please extend my time. Cool. No problem. But let me know what you think. Give me some feedback. Give me some positive feedback. Give me some negative feedback. If you think that it's not appropriate for you because this doesn't apply to you, let me know. If I don't feel like I'm really adding value to my audience, then I'm going to shift directions and go somewhere else. One of the things that I have absolutely gotten a ton of feedback on, and the reason why I'm still doing this podcast is because, you know what? A couple of months ago, honestly, I was struggling with, do I shift? Like I've got a couple of awesome sponsors now. I would like to find some more. My download numbers are really good. They're really strong. But at the very, very beginning, like before I hit launch on launch day, I kind of had a different expectation in my head and what the download numbers were going to be, because I had no idea what was big and what was small. And so once I went to Podcast Movement and talked to a lot of other podcasters, I found out that I was actually doing really, really well. But it felt like in the first few weeks, the first couple of months, that it wasn't, that it was like paltry, that it was embarrassing. But regardless of all that, I've been struggling with the lack of feedback that I get from the audience, like the number of people that respond to the emails, the number of people that leave an iTunes review or comment, on something on social media or on the website. I was getting really, really discouraged about that. And then I published episode 141. If you missed it, episode 141 is where I came out about social anxiety and my struggles with social anxiety over my entire life, and how it affected me as a child, how it affected me as a young adult, how it affected my career, and how I got to a really, really low moment in my life and nearly lost everything in the process. Since then, it's been, I turned it around and I've made a lot of progress, but slow, small steps, right? A marathon, not a sprint, but made steps in overcoming that social anxiety. The outpouring of support from you guys and gals in the community, the listeners, has absolutely been phenomenal. And oh my God, I nearly cried that week with the number of people that emailed in, the number of people that called me literally and said, Chad, I want to set up a scoping call with you. Not because I want to be on your podcast, but just because I got to say thank you. I resonate with this. I have struggled in this area. I don't know if I have social anxiety or not, but I've definitely had some of the anxieties that you've talked about. And what you said and you sharing your feelings has really helped me know that I'm not alone. So for me, that is what this podcast is all about. And that is why I am in the process of shifting this podcast. It's still Hello Tech Pros. We're still, for the time being, doing 7 days a week on the 7 topics. Monday, motivation. Tuesday, productivity. Wednesday, leadership. Thursday, technology. Friday, people and communication. Saturday, entrepreneurship. Sunday, being unplugged. Because I feel that those topics are really a lot of the things that I learned from my mentors and learned from my colleagues and friends as I was going through the process of overcoming my anxiety. And I feel like those are really, really valuable topics that we need to talk about. And if they can help other people face their anxieties, face their fears, and get through it, then fantastic. I want to continue telling those stories. But on the other hand, I'm going to be more focused, more diligent on not just sharing stories about social anxiety, but connecting with people who feel anxious in certain situations, especially people who come from the technology field, regardless of what your flavor of tech is, and regardless of what industry you work on in a professional capacity. But I feel that there's so many people out there that have anxiety in certain situations. And you may not have social anxiety. That's cool. I hope you don't. But still, if you've ever, wanted to apply for a job that you really, really wanted, but you were just so nervous that you couldn't go through with it, or you have felt like you've deserved a raise or a bonus or a promotion for years and you're not up for it, and nobody's asking you to talk about it, but yet you're not really sure what to do about it, and just the thought of it makes you uncomfortable. If that's you, then I think I can help. If you struggle in tense situations where there's conflict at work and people are upset, whether it's they're upset directly at you or just there's a meeting and people are their emotions are getting wild and their voices are getting louder and they're getting just upset with each other, or upset with the process, and you feel like, oh my God, I need to run away, or I need to start screaming, or I need to just sit here and freeze and not say a single thing. That fight, flight, freeze response is so common in so many different situations. Man, if you feel just completely nerve-wracking if you have to go to a social event, or if you have to do any mingling, as I call it. If you're expected to go around and talk to other people, if you have a startup idea, you really, really want to start your business, but you're afraid of talking to customers and selling yourself or selling your idea or selling your product or services because the thought of asking people for money is just too nerve-wracking. I understand. I've been there. And so for me, that's what this platform, this Hello Tech Pros platform is all about, is connecting with people who have those fears, and those fears are affecting them in a negative manner. Those fears are holding them back in achieving their wildest, absolutely wildest dreams of success in any capacity, whether that be in life, in relationships, at work, in their career, or their business, and either starting or growing or monetizing their business. If that's you, I would love to help out. So I'm going to be shifting some things inside Hello Tech Pros. One of the first things that I'm going to do is I've put together some emails about my story and about some of the anxieties that I have struggled with, some of the anxious situations that I've been in, and what I've learned on how to face that, how to solve that, how to resolve those anxious situations, right? That internal dialogue in my head that keeps telling me, you're no good, shut up, don't say anything. If you don't say anything, they won't think you're an idiot. Oh my God, they're staring at you, they think you're an idiot, you need to leave, you need to run away, right? That internal dialogue is something that, to some extent or another, everyone has. But for me, in a lot of different scenarios, it was absolutely overpowering. And it made me choose to freeze or choose to flee. And in many, many circumstances, that was not the right response. And so I've come up with some ways to deal with that internal voice. I'm not going to say that voice is going to go away. I'm not going to say that you will never hear that voice again, because that's BS. I still hear it every single day. Every single day, at one time or another throughout the day, that internal voice tells me that I'm not good enough, right? You may have heard it called imposter syndrome. The imposter syndrome says that, who am I to ask these people to sign up for my email list? Who am I to give advice on this? Who am I to speak in this mic and try to connect with people? Who am I to ask for money for a coaching program? Well, I'm getting through that. I have got through that so much. I've improved so much. It's helped me, honestly, it's helped me get married. It's helped me date and get married when I was a lot younger. And now, since then, it's helped me build relationships with people. It has helped me say no to other destructive relationships that I have had that I didn't want to let them go, but I needed to remove myself from those situations. But I was friends, or worse, family with people for so long that I felt extremely anxious about standing up for my rights and standing up for my best interest and saying no to some people. And then in my career has absolutely taken off since that time when I had to make the decision and started going on my own and started really being productive and being brave in the office and speaking up and sharing my ideas. And then launching this business and going out, and now, gosh, I've done over 200 episodes with 200 amazing different guests, and so many more still on the calendar every week. For me, that's what it's all about, is this journey, this starting your first business is not about how much money you're going to make, but it's how much am I going to grow? How much am I going to develop as a human being, as a father, as a husband, as a colleague, as a person who's just empathetic to other people in technology, and some of the diversity challenges that we have, and some of the mental illness challenges that we have, and everything like that. So I am just so passionate about this community and helping people out in this area. That's why I'm choosing right now to announce that Hello Tech Pros will be pivoting in this direction. And I understand that I may lose some subscribers. There may be some people that say, hey, I'm going to turn this off because I don't have that social anxiety stuff. I just want to learn about JavaScript. Cool, man. Go listen to JavaScript Jabber. Those guys are awesome. If you want to learn about specific programming language or specific technology, there's tons of options out there. But if you want to learn how to overcome some of the biggest fears and obstacles and mental barriers and internal dialogues and imposter syndromes that are holding you back from whatever your wildest dreams are, whether it be personal or career driven or business and entrepreneurial in nature, whatever that is, I've been there, I've felt it, and I can help you. I would love to help you. Go to hellotechpros.com/anxiety. hellotechpros.com/anxiety. It's a word that I didn't know how to spell. ANXIETY. ANXIETY. hellotechpros.com/anxiety. And sign up for that email course. It's absolutely free. I'll share you some of the stories about how I've overcome some of these situations. And I would love to help you out in launching your first business. I can absolutely understand and appreciate that starting your first business is scary. It's very, very scary. Making a pivot and going a different direction is very, very scary. Telling your friends and family that, hey, you're going to go off on your own and do this and risk everything and risk your savings, risk your 401k, risk your house, risk your reputation. It's extremely anxious. It can cause a lot of anxiety in a lot of people, and I understand. But there are ways to go through those scenarios, go through those anxious situations, and really kind of reprogram that part of you that naturally says, no, I got to stay on the safe side. There are ways to take calculated risks that add a lot of value and a lot of fun that aren't as dangerous as your internal dialogue tells you that it is. And I would love to tell you more about that. Go to hellotechpros.com/anxiety. And again, if you haven't signed up for this course, if you want to get all 7 episodes for this course to start your own business, start your first business, go to hellotechpros.com/start. Please give me some feedback. Send me some feedback. Respond to those emails. Give me some feedback so that I know that I'm helping you solve these problems and not just blowing smoke. Please provide me some feedback. Send me some feedback and let me know, what do you think about this series? Let me know what you think about the podcast in general. Let me know specifically when I have helped you. If any of these episodes has really helped you think through a scenario a different way, or think about a situation a different way, or approach a situation a different way that has really added value and success to your life, to your business, to your career, please let me know. I would love to hear from you. And I would also really, really appreciate and love a review on iTunes. It is where I get the most downloads. So the more iTunes reviews that I have, the higher up in iTunes I rank, and the higher up in iTunes I rank, the more people I reach. And again, I feel like there's a lot of people in technology, in business, that suffer with this anxiety, and I want to help them. And the more people I can reach, the more people I can help, and the more satisfied I'm going to be with this business and Hello Tech Pros. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I really appreciate all the feedback and support that you've given me. And if there's anything that I can do to help you in your life, in your business, or your career, please let me know. And I will bend over backwards to do anything that I can to help you see and achieve your wildest successful dreams possible. You've been listening to Chad Bostic, and until next time, take care. The show notes page for this episode can be found at hellotechpros.com/210. Do you use Slack for team communication? Join the Hello Tech Pros Slack channel at hellotechpros.com/Slack. This episode of Hello Tech Pros is sponsored by Minio Cloud Storage. Minio is a cloud object storage server for developers and DevOps written in Go. The Go programming language is the emerging language of choice for modern cloud infrastructure projects, and it allows Minio to be highly concurrent and lightweight. Minio is Amazon S3 compatible, built with microstorage architecture in mind, but at its heart, Minio is simple, scalable, and supported by a passionate developer and user community. In episode 89 of Hello Tech Pros, I talked with A.B. Periasamy, one of the founders of Minio, about the importance of community support and recruiting software developers who are as passionate about their product's code as artists are of their art. Check out that episode at hellotechpros.com/89 and check out Minio Cloud Storage at minio.io. That's minio.io. Are you new to podcasting? Are you looking for a fast, high-quality, yet budget-friendly podcast production team? Let TransSource Media take care of you. With a team of professional audio and video editors, writers, and graphic artists, they can help you build your podcast from planning, post-production, and platform submission. Using only cutting-edge software and studio equipment, they're here to make each and every show sound at its best. To get a free quote, please visit www.transsourcemedia.com or send them an email at marketing@transsourcemedia.com or call them at 209-505-5693. TransSource Media, transforming businesses through the power of multimedia. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review, subscribe to this channel, and check back tomorrow. This has been Sunday Being Unplugged, but tomorrow my featured guest and I will get fired up and ready to face the week with Motivation Monday. On Tuesday, we'll be discussing productivity, Wednesday, leadership, Thursday, technology, Friday, people and communication, Saturday, entrepreneurship, and back again on Sunday to get unplugged. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.